I
All
should turn this
right.
off. I should turn this off.
Turn what off?
Hmm.
What are you doing?
I have the game on, but it's gonna like distract me.
Which game do you have on right now?
The Mercury and Storm game.
Oh, nice, dude. Nice. Nice. That
Yeah.
actually that actually sounds like it would be a pretty good matchup,
Seattle's sneaky, man. They're solid.
dude.
They're a solid
Ju
squad this year.
Jewel Lloyd is
She's
dude,
nice. She's
she
nice.
she man. Well, it's actually funny that you have that game on. I don't know if you planned that or not. But today,
I did
oh,
not.
well,
I
today,
did not.
today on All the Vibes with Jimmy and Derek, we are definitely shifting the focus more to sports and more specifically the WNBA. Derek and I, the funny thing is that I think I think over the past probably like over the past couple of years, like there's not really been somebody that I could like share a mutual interest in, or like a passion for than like watching like women's sports, like women's basketball specifically. Like
Yeah.
you are seriously the only person that I know where the only other person that I know who actually has an interest in this stuff. And like we can like text about it. We can text about it during the games. We can like analyze like, certain things that just happen. Like, it's so funny because I don't even have to ask you like, but sometimes because we do, I mean, during the day and stuff, like sometimes we can be really busy and like we got other stuff going on depending on the day.
Yeah.
But there's so many times where I don't even have to ask you. You're like, dude, I'm watching this game right now. And I'm like, and I'm
Yeah.
sitting, I go, I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
definitely. Uh, it
Yeah.
was, it was especially oh God, what was it? It was especially like there was one game we were watching. What was it like? Ohio State against Iowa,
Oh
and
yeah, this the tournament this year, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was dude.
Or
That
was it
was
before the tournament? I
I
think it
think
was in the tournament.
it was either the big okay. So I think
Oh, it might have been.
it was
Yeah.
before the tournament had started. But then like Iowa played against Nebraska. And you and I were texting back and forth about that one as well. And we were like, dude, Caitlin Clark, man, I, like.
That honestly, that it was just that entire Iowa team just did not get enough credit. Like obviously, Caitlin Clark is amazing, but like they had a good whole squad. Like there was, they had a really good squad altogether. Like they surrounded her with like the best like possible pieces. I thought, but yeah,
Yeah,
no, I remember that game for sure because I was watching it on the couch. I remember, I think I texted you something about it, and you were like, "Oh wait, what?" And you immediately turned it on. It was like early in the first half or something like that. I was like,
yep,
Caitlin Clark had like a sick like three or something, and
yeah,
I texted you about it, and yeah, you turned it right back. You turned it right on.
yep.
But um, I'm actually curious. When did you start watching the WNBA? I don't think we
Honestly,
talked about that.
we didn't talk about that. I started watching the WNBA. Probably, I mean, it's been around. Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, it's been around since like the mid, maybe late 90s, I
I want
think.
to say 97
Okay.
was the year.
So I was very much aware of like, listen, you go back to the 90s, 97, 98. Who do you think about? Cheryl Swoops. You
Lisa
think about
Leslie,
Lisa Leslie and
Rebecca Lobo,
yes, Rebecca Lobo, like all
Cynthia
these
Cooper.
dude, these just phenomenal basketball players. Like
Yeah.
they were I mean, you have to think to yourself like that is basically like obviously the cornerstone, like the building block of that league and just the goats, absolute
Hmm.
goats, man, just absolute goats. So I want to say actually that I did watch a little bit of it, even starting back in like 97, 98 when it first came around, because in that time, obviously, those are the Michael Jordan days. Bit like, you know,
Hmm.
in the time of like winning the sixth championship, and then years later that Last Dance documentary comes out and all this, and all this other stuff. But yeah, I do want to say though, when the league first started, I watched it every now and then, but I wasn't old enough to understand the the importance of it though. Like to me, I'm just watching like, hey, like I'm just watching.
Just watching basketball.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it, dude.
Mhm.
But I didn't think how I wasn't old enough to understand how historical that was.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
same.
and but I really wish that I would have because how so for me, yeah, back in like when it first started, early late '90s, as the years went on and stuff, I again like I'd watched it every now and then, but the NBA was more on my radar, that type of thing.
Right.
But
Right.
what about yourself though? How long have you been?
Uh from jump, like you. I mean, I definitely fell out of it for a little bit. But I absolutely remember watching it when it first started. Like all the names we mentioned. I mean, like the Houston Comets, that four-peat right out the gate, which is unreal. Like that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. Like with some of the greatest dynasties of all time, like four championships in a row is ridiculous. Um, but yeah,
Who's
no,
done that? Who's done that? Nobody.
I,
I don't think anybody's done that, dude.
I
Seriously,
don't
in
either.
the history of pro
Four
sports.
four in
Like,
a row is nasty work.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I watched it like when it first started. Then I kind of went out of it a little bit. I mean, I was still like keeping up with it, but I wasn't watching it as much. I think a combination of just getting older, and it's like you kind of fall into like the whole stereotype of, well, why are you watching women's sports? And you kind of
Ugh.
let that get in your mind a little bit as a like in high school, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but like I would keep up with it, but then like as time went on, I kind of fell out of it a little bit. I didn't really get back into it. I would say like 2 years ago,
Hmm.
I was watching. I just turned on the TV and I think it was the playoffs and the Aces were on, and I just started watching Asia Wilson. I'm like, yo, this girl's amazing. She is unreal. And then it was like first round or something like that. So I was like, all right, well, I'm watching this, and this is my team right now. I know that I know the Connecticut Sun exists, but like, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I love like she's my favorite player right now. And so yeah, after that, I was like, oh, I'm gonna put more effort into watching next year, which was last season, and I tried to watch it as much as I could. And then obviously now it's very hard not to watch a game. Like they're on all the time now. So, and it's one of those things where it's like I'm happy that the game is growing, like more eyes are on the product, but some of the eyes that are on it, I'm like, could you guys just keep the eyes and not the mouth? Like just keep it down a little bit.
Yeah, like, you
It's
know,
just
listen. So here's, I agree with you in that aspect because like the league, the WNBA is doing the best that it can to become more profitable, right?
yeah, yeah,
Doing
you
the
have
best,
to,
doing
you know.
you have to, and or otherwise there's no league. I mean, that's pretty much it. Like simplifying it. I mean, but yeah, some of the comments though, especially like, and I'm telling you right now, I stay away from Twitter. I do, man.
Yeah.
I stay away from
Yeah.
Twitter. It is a dumpster fire of just
Bad opinions,
bad. Well, not just bad. Yeah, like not just bad
bad
opinions, but
takes.
bad takes, bad opinions. I've always been somebody who, if I'm going to be on a platform like that, especially it's because I'm more so now I'm on Threads as I know you are.
Yeah.
Because I've seen your
Very
takes.
active.
I've seen your takes, dude. Like they're good though. They're good. Like, and
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
know
get
that.
some I get some I get some bad ones in there, but from
Yeah,
people.
yeah, man.
I get some
Yeah,
action.
yeah.
I've
Well,
been very active on threads lately.
I'm just like, hey, look, I mean, the Celtics are in the finals. Like,
Yes, they are.
you're
And
rocking.
hopefully by the time everybody's listening to this, they will be NBA champions.
That's true because at the time
But
we are recording this, it's actually Sunday, and then the Celtics play Game 5 tomorrow, 17th.
yeah.
So, but again, like I just feel like the negativity and it's almost funny how there's negativity around the fact that they are trying to become more profitable now.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? I mean, maybe I'm not explaining that right, but I just feel like there's way too many people that are just absolutely shitting on it for no reason.
Oh, I mean, it's always been like that,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but now it's almost like now those people are using like Caitlin Clark to to push that narrative. Like they see or they're using, yeah, well, they're using Caitlin Clark, but like against everybody else to be like, oh well, see the WNBA does suck. Like, well, these are, and it's like it's so frustrating because like they're so good, they're so talented, and like if you don't like it, don't fucking watch or don't pay
Yeah,
attention to it. Like nobody's
yeah,
asking for your opinion. Like
right.
if you know what I
That's
mean.
the thing.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
nobody's asking what you thought about the Fever versus the Sky game, but you're openly giving your opinion, which most of these people don't even watch it. They just see like one highlight or they see like one Instagram post that says so and so scored this many points, and it's like, oh, see, Caitlin Clark is the saver of the league. Uh, like
no,
I pointed out yesterday. I saw there was one account on Threads. They Caitlin Clark had a pretty bad game. I think it was like I think she had like 7 points, something like that, like 6 turnovers. Not a good game. And they post the picture with like all the stats are on it, whatever. But like underneath, like all the stats, it says like in quotations, the face of the league. And I was like, that was so unnecessary. Like it's what like, it's perfectly fine to put like other stats. Like people do that for the NBA players all the time. It's perfectly fine,
yeah,
understandable. If a star
yeah,
has a bad game, cool.
yeah.
Like the face of the league. I'm like, that's. But then you turn around and it's like, are you guys gonna post the same thing when she scores 30? Like keep the same energy.
Yeah.
Like
You know what people don't get, which I think is really funny, or maybe they do and they're just being assholes anyways, it doesn't matter. But like what the WNBA operates differently than the NBA in the sense of once like there's barely any gap between when a female athlete graduates college or leaves college to go pro. There, what is there like a month?
a month and a half, maybe.
Dude, that is insane. They just got
Yeah.
through playing an entire college basketball season, which if you go further into the tournament, what is that like 36 games?
Yeah, something like
Like
that. Yeah.
like come on. That is basically a quarter, almost a quarter of an NBA season. And now you're going into the pros where I think they're I think because the year that this I'm trying to think how many games the WNBA regular season is. I think it's like 32.
That sounds about right. It's
I
in the
think it's like
30, 32,
I,
36 area, somewhere
yeah,
around there, I
yeah. So
think.
the reason I actually thought of 32 was because when the Chicago Sky won it with Candace Parker, when they won the whole thing, they were actually 16 and 16 that year. They finished the season 500 and ended up winning the
Right.
title. So either way, 32 to 36, give or take. Um, but still, you're asking NBA players don't have to go through that. I'm not calling it out saying like, players, NBA players have it better. I'm not going to get into that whole thing, okay? The way that both
Yeah.
leagues operate, it is what it is for right now. But there is still no gap. So it's like not only do they have to manage the physical um wear and tear, they also got to deal with it mentally.
Yeah. Like that's a
Like
lot. And
yes.
I mentioned that before because like so many people were like right out the gate, they're like, oh, like Caitlin Clark's overrated, Caitlin Clark's overhyped, or Angel Reese is overrated. And it's like, bro, I understand like for a lot of people, this is the first time you have eyes on the WNBA, but like do you not realize that we were literally just watching Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese play in college a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen with the NBA with guys. And like it's hard enough coming in as a rookie anyways. And like more oftentimes than not, regardless of when you make that transition, more than oftentimes than not, your body is still not gonna be acclimated. Like it's still gonna probably take that off season plus a full season and then another off season to even get close to it. But like coming in a month and a half after like playing against college girls and then coming in and playing against grown ass women, like that's a hard transition to make. That's very difficult. And like I was watching I was recording today. I was watching the Fever and the Sky game earlier, and like Caitlin Clark was playing a lot better. Like she's like letting the game come to her, and I'm just thinking that like her and Angel Reese, I'm just like it's gonna be very cool to watch and see how they improve throughout the season. Like once they get really acclimated, like their bodies and their just mental and just the entire game. Because that's so difficult, man. Like it's a hard enough like change going from playing with college students that are your peers basically to going and then playing with a grown ass adults as it is. But like doing that in that short of a period with that little bit of like preparation, it's almost an impossible task. Like at, I I honestly didn't even realize it until this season. Like I probably knew, but I just didn't realize it. And I was like, oh shit. Especially if you play in the national championship game. It's like they were literally just playing a month and a half ago. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then boom, they're in training camp a month later. And it's like it's just so fast, you know?
Well,
Like,
no doubt, no doubt too. Iowa, like Iowa didn't just play against anyone in that national championship game. They played
oh
against South
yeah.
Carolina, dude. Played
Yeah.
against South Carolina. That is what you see that's what and that's what it frustrates me so much about it is like did you actually watch what these women went through throughout this entire season? Did you actually watch it? No. You're just popping on there and you're like, "Oh, I got I got thumbs and I can type on a keyboard. Hell, here we go."
I got thumbs.
I'm just saying it's so insane to me. Like I was one
That should be the name of this episode. I got thumbs. I got two thumbs and an opinion.
dude, nailed it. Put it
Right.
down.
Go.
Put it down. But yeah, no, I just kind of like I'm not the other thing that kind of like just bugs me about this too is like I really don't think Caitlin Clark asked for any of this.
No, I
She
feel
didn't. Dude, she
like
did not ask for any of this. All she did was play really, really good basketball. Like that's all she did. Played good
yeah,
basketball, tried to set a good example sportsmanship wise, especially because that's another thing that, pro leagues are looking for. Like, hey, how disciplined are you? How can you handle a bit of trash talk? Like, cause this is the pros again. Like, I mean, like to me, like she handled it with such grace and such maturity that it was very refreshing to watch because I really wish that's how a lot of I wish sometimes that's how other college athletes would kind of handle themselves, and going into the pros. I feel like she set a really good example, but she didn't ask for any of this. Like that's why I hate how much like a lot of this stuff was like forced on her. You know what I mean? It just it did. It felt forced and it felt unnecessary and just I don't know. It just really kind of blew my mind.
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things when you're a star of that magnitude. You obviously know like there's gonna be a lot of attention coming your way. I mean, she got a lot of attention last year, so obviously she knew there's gonna be a lot of attention this year. I don't think anybody suspected it would be this kind of attention, this divisive, like with racial overtones and like all of this and like people picking side. And it's like I made a post about it recently where I was like, just like it's almost like politics where like I can't stand the far right, I can't stand the far left, and I can't stand the people who are just all about Caitlin Clark all of a sudden because like I've been a Caitlin Clark fan for like the last couple of years. Like
Yeah.
I love her, but I'm like these people who like just all of a sudden just came out of the woodworks and just all about Caitlin Clark and they're Caitlin Clark fans. They're not basketball fans. Like those are the people I can't stand. And then the
Yeah.
other side who just hate on her for absolutely no reason. Like I can't stand them either. And I'm just like, I just need both of you guys to shut the fuck up so we can all enjoy basketball. Can we
Exactly.
please do that? Because it's
Well,
and
I'm
like
glad.
people were getting on Caitlin Clark too for like not speaking up, which to an extent I can understand because like when you have that platform, it is kind of expected to use it. But like one, she's like 22 years old, but and she did finally come out and say like, yeah, like it's not cool for people using my name for like for these like racial whatever. And like finally she did come out and like I thought she'd handled it very well. But like there were people who were getting on her like, oh, you got to speak up, you got to speak up, you got to speak up. And it's like give her give these girls some time, give these athletes some time. Like it's ridiculous sometimes, man.
Well,
Like
can we? Well, and that's the thing. Like, why does it have to? That's where I get pissed off about it because why does it have to be about anything other than basketball? Like, why? And listen, I understand. Like these athletes, they have a platform. Okay, they have a platform. There are certain like causes that are really
Mhm.
important to them. There are certain issues that are really important to them. Hell, the NBA does that. You know how many guys in the NBA have that do that with their platforms and how they try to focus on other things outside of the game because they know that they can make an impact, which is totally fine. But there are some times where I really do wish that the things that are being mentioned, I'm like, why the fuck are we mentioning that? Where did any of this come from? Like,
Mhm.
where did it come from? But that's all it takes is one person to post it on social media. And then all of a sudden, somebody else just flocks to it and they're just like, oh, yeah. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go after, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh. And I'm like, that's what just, I cannot stand that. When it becomes about anything other than basketball and whether it doesn't, I do not care what league it is, men, men or women, I don't care when it becomes about anything other than basketball and trying to win games, trying to be a good sport, trying to be a good sport about it, trying to play the game the right way, trying to set good examples for other, for other athletes and whatnot, it just gets I can't take it. And it pisses me off. It does. And it just almost like
Mhm.
it kind of ruins it, kind
Oh,
of just
dude,
ruins the game. Yeah.
it's been, yeah, it's been really hard to enjoy. Like, I was very excited for the WNBA season this year because of like I said, I started watching it a couple of years ago, watching it back again a couple of years ago, then last year, and then this year I was like, oh, really excited. And then add in the fact that Caitlin Clark, who's been like my favorite basketball player to watch the last like 2 seasons, has got to be in the league. Angel Reese, like this rookie class is insane. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. And then all these people coming out of the woodwork who like are so unfamiliar with basketball, or with the women's basketball,
Hmm.
and they're just Caitlin Clark fans or just Caitlin Clark haters. And it's like, you guys are making this so hard to enjoy. Like,
What happened? Yeah. What happened to just enjoying basketball?
yeah, man. And it's like, it's a double-edged sword because yes, there are more viewers that are tuning in. There are more people talking about it, which is obviously what the WNBA and the NBA wants. They want, you know, to grow the game. And that's huge. But it's becoming so toxic that it's so hard to enjoy. And it's like, I just want to watch basketball,
Yeah.
and I'm like, Caitlin Clark just wants to play basketball. Angel Reese just wants to play basketball. This is all they want. They don't want to have to deal with all this shit. Like, Angel Reese has gotten such a bad rap for this shit too. And it's like, she doesn't deserve that, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
And the K well, and plus well, I mean, there was even talk about how when Chicago drafted basically the two towers this season because they got a massive haul for, in the draft and they ended up getting Camila Cardosa. Am I saying that right? Cardoso or Cardosa?
I think it's Cardoso.
Okay, Cardoso. Yeah, Camila
I think.
Cardoso, she just got through winning a national championship at South Carolina. Again, phenomenal basketball player. One of the more physical, just like brutal, and is gonna I mean, that's why like when her and Angel Reese got drafted on the same team, of course I knew that there were gonna be people, oh man, well, how is Angel gonna play with Camilla? And I'm like, what do you mean? How is Angel going to play with Camilla? I guarantee you it's probably gonna fucking work. Like
Yeah.
they just got it, but again, they just got to get acclimated. It's their first season. Like
Yeah.
no rest for the weary, I guess. And it's like, there no gap whatsoever. Trying to get acclimated to the pro league. Like boom, just go right into it. Go, off and running. And but as you were saying, Angel Reese gets a bad rap for some stuff that she did in her college career. And I'm just sitting there and I go, but I also, you know what though? I also appreciate her because she does she's taken it. Like she's taken it, man, and she just keeps running with it. And she's like, look, if you guys are just gonna, I'm paraphrasing, but like, if you guys are gonna hate on me, that's fine. All that does is just fuel my fire.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep playing. I'm just gonna keep being myself. I'm just gonna keep setting a good example. Um, and the whole thing of like, I think she got I think in that game today against the between the Fever and the Sky, I'm pretty sure she got a flagrant one.
Yeah.
And of course it was on Caitlin Clark. So
Yeah.
here comes the narratives once again. Everybody just jumps right in. It's like, oh, that was on purpose. And I'm like,
Yeah. I literally just made a post about that before I hopped on here. Like total satire of like Angel Reese should have been thrown out of the game after this. And I was like, no, you know what? She should have been thrown out of the league. Absolute, actually, no, she should have been thrown in jail for this absolute barbaric display, this barbaric assault. And you know what's coming. People would be like, oh, she's there goes Angel Reese, the thug again. And that's the thing.
Oh,
That's the shit that annoys me too. Is like that's where like the racial overtones come in, where or undertones, where it's like because they did this. What was it last season where LSU and Iowa were in the
yep,
championship game, and they were
yep.
like, and Angel Reese was taunting Caitlin Clark, and even though that was like basically what Caitlin Clark was doing to other people, but
Hmm.
um,
Hmm. Hmm.
all
Yep.
this talk was like, oh, she such a thug, all this thug stuff, and it's like, why is it? Why is Angel Reese a thug when she does it, but when some
But not
like Caitlin
Caitlin
Clark does
Clark.
it or another
Yeah,
white person does it, they're not a
yeah.
thug. And I think unfortunately for Angel Reese, that was the moment that like people have been using her almost as like the opposition for Caitlin Clark, where it's like a lot of one side sided with Angel Reese and the other side sided with Caitlin Clark, and forever it's just gonna be, which is annoying
Uh,
because like there are people, I'm one of them. I know you are who like Angel Reese and like Caitlin Clark. It's
yeah.
very
I- Why can't
imagine
you?
that.
Okay,
That's crazy.
holy cow! I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
it's almost like we're God. I don't know. It's almost like most of the times we're pretty clear, pretty clear in the head that when we see good basketball players, we just can't help but appreciate that.
Yeah.
You can't help but just
It's
appreciate that, man. Like, come on. Like again, like it doesn't to me, it just doesn't really make it just doesn't really make a lot of sense overall. And what I continue to hope, here's what I continue to hope that Caitlin Clark keeps improving. I hope her game just continues to get better as as each game passes. I hope the same for Angel Reese. I hope the same for Camila Cardoso, who had to battle a shoulder injury, kept her out the first like 4 to 6 weeks. So she is even behind and she's trying to get herself all conditioned and ready to go after not having, basically any rest coming out of a national championship season with South Carolina. I hope that all these players, I just hope they continue to get better, man. That's all.
yeah. I mean,
Because I just want to watch basketball. I want to watch them improve. I want to watch them grow. And of course, am I also kind of like, oh man, I like each of them have their own unique personalities, which is even better.
yeah.
I love that about each and every one of them. And guess what? I love how we talk about this and people are like, oh yeah, like guys in the NBA, like, oh man, this guy's a dog. Like he is a dog, man. I love this guy. Okay, well, I'm letting you know right now, there are a lot of female athletes in this league in the WNBA who are the exact same. Like Jewel Lloyd, we were talking about her earlier. Jewel Lloyd, Cameron Brink, who's gonna be tough. Like she's gonna be tough to deal with. Who else? Who else did you say? It was Arike from I can't oh God, I hate that I can't pronounce her name for the life of me, but Arike
It's like a
From
gumbo
Dallas.
wale or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She's phenomenal. Like, man, she is a walking
She's a
bucket.
walking bucket. Yeah.
All the
Bro,
time. Like, damn.
Alyssa Thomas, dog.
Yes.
Alyssa,
Yes.
like,
Who also gets a bad rep, by the way. Who gets a bad rep, by the way. Like,
yeah, she did get it. Well, because she, well, I think she had instances with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, right?
yeah,
So
she did.
she's getting it from both sides now.
She's getting it
But
from
no,
all the fan bases.
yeah, she's a dog. She don't care either. She's a dog, man. I think I saw somebody make a compare because I've been trying to make it like an NBA comp for Alyssa Thomas like all season. I'm like, I can't. It's very difficult. But somebody was like, she's almost like a combination of Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler. I'm like,
Ooh,
yeah, yeah. I
ooh,
think like prime Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler.
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I think that's pretty good because she's not gonna like blow you away with like a ton of points. Like she'll probably give you between like 15 to 20 on average, but she's gonna get you a near triple double every time, and she's just so rugged and
Yes.
just a beast down low.
Yeah.
And she's running the point, and it's like, yeah. So like, there's oh man, but and the other thing with like Caitlin Clark and just her team, like a lot of people were like trying to say like, oh well, she's not good like because the team stinks. It's like, well, yeah, the team stinks She was the first overall pick. What do you think?
Right.
Oh, they have Aaliyah Boston. She was the first overall pick last year. Like, obviously, it's not a good sign if you have the first overall pick 2 years in a row.
You're right.
Obviously, like, obviously the team's not very good. So, like,
Right.
you can't expect them to just all of a sudden be like WNBA champions just like that. Like, it's not good. Like
Well,
watching them, like I've watched a lot of their games because obviously Caitlin Clark is a big draw and they have her on TV a lot, and I'm like, this is not a good team. This is
no,
just like not a very good team.
no. And you have to say, you'd have to probably say the same thing about even though the Sky have some pretty solid players, they're still trying to get themselves built
Yeah, I mean,
to to be better.
there's a
There's
reason they got Angel Reese and Cardoso both this year.
I
You
was
know,
gonna
like
say, Dave, it's not good. It's not good if this is where you're at. You know,
yeah,
if this is the situation that you're in, you get two first round draft picks. Okay, that sounds like an Oklahoma City type thing. You know what I mean? To try and
yeah,
build up their team. Now look where they are. But look, I just I think that we as if we are truly fans of basketball, like there's just gotta be a time, and I'm probably not. People are like, well, it's wishful thinking, or you're naive or whatever, but we've got to get to a point where we just start enjoying basketball again. Like we've got to get to that point so with all of that being said, though, I'm curious to know what you think about this, because the the state of the WNBA right now, and like with this draft class coming in, ratings, ratings, revenue, um, more sponsorships. I think they just got charter flights for teams. Where
I don't
that
think it's
just
all teams, but most teams or a
most
few
teams,
teams, I
yeah.
think.
Yeah. So there is definitely progress being made.
Hmm.
Okay. There's progress being made, which is good. And I'm very, very happy about that. I'm happy for the league. I'm happy for the players, because I want I want this league to get to a point, and I don't know how long that's going to take, but I want them to get to a point where these women are not going to have to go overseas to basically play to to play basketball,
After the
and
season. Yeah,
after the season is over, so that they can keep earning a living. And
right.
I get it. And I get it. Look, I was one of those people at first. I was one of those people where I was like, this is dumb. Why do they have to do this? Not really thinking that, well, the WNBA right now is just not profitable. It's not. So people buying game packages, people buying jerseys, going to games. I think attendance is has gotten a lot better this season as well. There's a lot of things that the league still has to do in order to, again, be profitable and get themselves to a point where it can be like the NBA, in the sense
Right.
of, hey, you play in this league, that's all you're going to have to do. You know,
Mhm. Yeah, I
so
mean, I think they're heading in the right direction.
yeah,
Um, I mean, as as much as people want to pick on the Kaden Clark of it all, like she is a huge draw. Like she has been a huge draw for this and Angel Reese. Um, they could potentially do for the WNBA what Bird and Magic did for the NBA in the 80s. With
yeah,
potential, and it's already starting. So hopefully it'll continue to grow. My thing is I hope that the WNBA is able to capitalize on this for other players. Like obviously bringing the attention to the league and with Caitlin Clark, but like use that to highlight the other star players that you have in the league. Like Asia Wilson should be all over the,
dude.
because she has not only is she just the best player in the league, but she has a great personality. Like she's
Yeah.
hilarious. So like she should be like all over the place. Jewel Lloyd, like I've seen her on a couple commercials, so that's cool. But
Yep.
like
Kelsey
I'm just
Plum.
hope oh my plum dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so I just hope that they're able to use um this newfound attention that's been brought to them. Like obviously Caitlin Clark is a massive reason why, and she deserves, you know, all the endorsements or whatever she's getting. I just hope that they kind of are using all the shine that's on her right now and kind of like spread it out a little bit. Because that's going to be the way you grow the game, you know. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
with
Absolutely.
other people. I mean Sabrina, she got a lot of attention with the shootout with Steph at the All-Star game.
That was
So that
huge. I love
yeah,
that they did that. I did.
and
It was
I'm sure
so good for the
next
game.
year, it sounds like next year they're gonna do like Sabrina and Caitlin
Okay.
with Steph and maybe Steph and Clay or some Steph and some Dame maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So doing stuff like that is huge. But yeah, just that's my biggest hope is that they are able to capitalize on all this attention and use it to like build the girls who are already been there and been putting in that work. Asia Wilson specifically, like she deserves so much more. And I think she just got a shoe deal, which is great.
Yeah, she did.
Um,
Yeah, she got her own,
so
she got her signature shoe. So I think she is now, I think she's okay because she has one. So does Caitlin Clark, I believe. Caitlin Clark, I think has, yes, I think that was
I
part
think
of her
she's getting
contract with
one.
Nike. She's getting one.
Sabrina,
Yeah.
I, was,
Sabrina
I
Ionescu, and then even Brianna Stewart.
mhm,
You know, I mean, I mean, it's nice. It is. It's nice that they are getting the attention that they deserve, but that just it needs to continue though. Like
yeah.
I don't want it to stop just because I don't want it to stop just because of like one hyped up season. You know what I mean? But I do have to say though, do you think that we're going to see a rookie class like this ever again? I don't know. I
Well, wait, no. I mean, we'll see like rookies, but not like a whole class, like because Paige Beckers will be in there next year.
Yep,
But
Haley Von.
I don't think Juju can leave yet. I think she has one more year after
Oh, I think. Oh, you know what? I think she does
because she was
too.
a freshman
Actually,
this year, right?
yeah. Yeah,
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 so she's got two more seasons, I think. So it's gonna be like they're gonna get back to back like stars,
yeah.
but they won't be like in the same draft class like this one was.
Yeah, because
Because
I think that's how unique this was. Like there was I don't think we've ever seen this many like this type of caliber type of players all being drafted in the same year. I don't think we've ever seen that. Like it was just
no,
to me it was just mind blowing. And I'm just like holy crap. Like every you pretty much put an NBA, you know, a pro squad. You could put all of them together and they could probably make their own expansion team.
yeah,
You know. And speaking of expansion teams, actually, I'm glad I just remembered that. Like, they even have. I
yeah.
think they just got through making two more,
hmm
which are not. It's
Toronto
not
and Golden State,
Toronto
right?
and yeah, Golden State. Did you ever wait? Did you heard what the who the Golden State team is going to be? Like
The
what they're like the
Valkyries.
Valkyries. I love.
Yeah,
Why does that sounds freaking awesome? Like I love that they went that route with it because you already have Golden State Warriors.
yep,
And now you're like, let's get the Valkyries in here.
yeah,
You know why?
yeah,
Because the Valkyries are badass, man. And that's how I mean, I've seen the movies. I've seen Thor movies. I've seen any type of movie that has a Valkyrie. Like they were no joke. Like
yeah.
absolute
No,
like
it's a great branding name.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they've named the Toronto team yet, right? I think they've like
No, no, they haven't named the
nailed it
Toronto
down.
team yet. I mean, they
Um,
can't go. I mean, please don't do a dinosaur name because you can't. Just don't do a dinosaur name. I'm sorry, dude. Like we got Toronto Raptors, we've already got it because you cannot go with any other. Don't even do like this is gonna sound so stupid. Toronto T Rexes, get out of here. I'm not
the Toronto T Rexes.
T Rexes or you've already got the Raptors. Okay, I don't do anything dinosaur related. Just please keep it out of
No,
it.
yeah,
Keep it out of it. We've already got one. It's all right. Um, but
but I think they're gonna try and get two more. I
yeah,
believe
which
they said
would
too.
yeah, because right now they're at 12, I think. Without the
hmm
two expansion teams that are going to be coming up, they've got 12, and then they're going to get it to 14, and then 16, and then you just hope that again you hope as the league continues to expand that they can just get more expansion teams. I would love for them to get to a point where it's like the NBA. They've got 32 teams. I would love that.
Yeah, yeah.
They got a ways to go. I get it. I
Oh
get it.
yeah,
I'm a
but yeah,
while.
no. I mean that was another thing that I was like, I think I saw a report yesterday or the day before that like the WNBA like they're losing like some revenue or losing money or whatever. But I'm like, that's one of those things where I think you have to lose in order to gain like in the long run because it's like
Yeah. Yeah,
you're
you
gonna
do.
have to spend especially now, like spend this money with like the potential of a lot more coming in right now. So it's like
Yeah,
that's one of those misleading things. But like I think they're gonna be in good shape eventually. Um,
they're just gonna
it
have to
is one of
survive
those
some
things.
bumps to get there.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, there's more eyes on the product, probably more now than probably ever. Maybe maybe aside from when it first started, but like there's a lot of people watching.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I just hope that some people will open up their eyes to people other than Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Favor or Angel Reese in the Chicago Sky, and just to like, oh wow, yeah, the New York Liberty, they're pretty good. Like they're a
wow,
really good team. They're a juggernaut. Oh, the Connecticut Sun, they're really good. Like
yeah,
I just hope that obviously it's not going to be the case for everyone. Obviously, there's going to be like just the people who just want to see Caitlin Clark, which is fine.
yeah,
But like
yeah,
I'm sure there's like a good amount of people who are basketball fans,
yeah,
and they just like, oh yeah, maybe I'll check the WNBA out, and then broaden. That's because that's kind of what got me back, where it was like, oh yeah, Angel Wilson, she's good. Angel Wilson, she's really good. And I was like,
yeah,
oh, what's let me see what else is going on over here.
yeah, yeah,
So
definitely, definitely. Well, and you know what? And again, like too, I think what's gonna help. I think what's gonna help the league out as well is the players that got selected to the 2024 Olympic team too. I think that's gonna help. I really
no
do.
controversy there at all either.
Oh Lord, that
There
was
was no controversy
yeah.
whatsoever.
Okay, so I sent you a really stupid text. I did. I sent it was dumb, dude. I couldn't even believe that I sent it, but there was no going back. There was no going back on it.
There was
Um,
no going
there
back.
wasn't. There wasn't any going back because I think I was more. I must have been just tired or something, and I must have been tired. My brain was absolute mush. But I saw that Caitlin Clark didn't make the Olympic team, and I'm sitting there and I was like, I feel like that's kind of
How?
what's up.
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
how? Yeah.
yeah. I did. I was like, how did she not make it? And then you brought me back down to earth, and you were like, okay, well, look, here, like, you did though. You did because I was like I said again, I'm exhausted and it just happened to come across my phone and I was like, wait, how is this possible? And then no rookie, number one, correct me if I'm wrong, no rookie has ever made the Olympic team. Is that
I mean,
is
I
that
think the
is that
rookies
correct?
have. I think
Okay.
rookies have, but they also were part of like the like tryout process. Caitlin did not because she was in the middle of a run with the NCAA tournament,
Yep.
but
Yep.
like the tryouts and everything, she was not there for. So like she was still in the player pool
Right.
just because of how good she is, but she wasn't part of which they took obviously heavily into consideration
Yeah,
why
yeah,
she
because
wasn't selected.
you have to have a tryout. You can't just, I mean, as far as the process goes, right? I mean, I thought you have to have a tryout in order to like you can still be in the player pool, but you have to at least go to a tryout or something. I mean, I don't think they can just look at you and be like, can't just look at you and be like, oh, hey, you know what? Phone call. We think that you're really good, and we just come on down. No, I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Um,
not when the pool is this deep with talent,
yeah,
you know.
God, yeah,
So and like people and a lot of people were just like, well, you just got to put her on the team. Why not? And it's like, well, why?
yeah, what,
Well,
yeah. Look,
but Christian Leitner. And it's like, so we're gonna make the same mistake twice? Like, because nobody believes Christian Leitner should have been on that team.
no,
Like,
no, no, he
it
shouldn't
was,
have. And
no,
the comments from the pros in that Last Dance documentary, or even the documentary made about that team when they were like, yeah, the rookie's here, but he's not going to play.
yeah,
he,
and it's like,
he didn't
so
need to.
yeah, and like honestly, like I think that this was probably part of their decision, and I think it was maybe brought up at some point, but like saying how if Caitlin Clark made the team, like she wasn't going to play, so like people would have been in uproar over that too. Like, so it's
Oh,
like,
of course.
why put her on the team if she's not going to play? And it's just going to be causing such a headache. Like, she's good. I think she's good enough to probably make the team at possibly, but there's also a lot like who are you going to take off?
Okay.
That's
To that point, I just pulled up the roster. Okay. I just pulled
yeah.
up the roster for the 2024 Olympic team. Like, again, this is okay. So let's see here. Uh Diana Taurasi. Okay.
I think that's one of the names people brought up as who you could take off,
Oh,
but it's like,
give me a
I
break.
mean,
She's a goat. Don't Don't take her off. That's
Like
just
she's
dumb.
basically like a player coach for
Pretty much.
right now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
pretty
It's
much.
like,
You have her. You have Nafisa Collier from Minnesota, who is again, she's
mhm,
phenomenal. Kalia Copper,
yeah,
who is now with the Phoenix Mercury, won a championship with Chicago Sky. Chelsea Gray. Chelsea Gray. I mean, Chelsea Gray, dude. Come on, give
the
me
point
like
guard, the
it's
point
ridiculous.
guard.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Brittany Griner. You got Sabrina Ionescu, Jewel Lloyd, Kelsey Plum, Alyssa Thomas, Asia Wilson, and last but not least, Jackie Young. I mean,
yeah.
dude,
There's like,
you don't take anyone off that roster. You don't.
no,
You don't.
no.
And look, and
And like,
Caitlin will
she'll be
get
on the
her
team.
Caitlin will get her shot. She'll get her
She'll be
shot
there in
someday.
4 years.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's got to put the. I mean, you got to put the work in with like Team USA, and
Yeah.
like
It because it
it's
is. It's separate. It's separate than, it's separate than the pros. And again, it's FIBA. Like, so you
yeah,
gotta, so you gotta work your way in. I mean, it's not just she can't just have it handed to her.
yeah. And like old
You
people,
know,
I see people like, oh, Chelsea Gray's hurt. She's been hurt all season. Why is she? And it's like this isn't the All Star game. This is it's the Olympics. It's like they're not basing it off what you've done this season. It's based off of your history with the program, your what you've done in the WNBA the last 4 years. It's there's a lot that goes into it. So it's like just because she's been injured for a good part of the season doesn't mean she's like she should be disqualified from making the team if she's good enough. If we know if we've seen it in the past,
right.
and like I said with Diana Taurasi, like are there better players at this stage in her career? Probably, but like she brings so much experience to that team and just international. This will be what her fifth Olympics, potentially her fifth gold medal, which is
Yeah.
absurd.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, man.
yeah,
Because what did she do? She won a bunch with Sue Bird.
she won what, 08, 12, 16, 20, and
Yep.
then potentially 24.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's probably a record. I imagine. Like, yeah,
I
you
would
got to let her
say,
get to that.
yeah, you
And
can. Well,
she's and like yeah, she's obviously not in her prime anymore. This might be her last season, but
yeah,
like
right.
what she
Well,
brings to that team, it's more than just what you're gonna get on the court. You know what I mean?
right,
It's
right. Well, comparison, you know what? Comparison wise to the state of where she is in her career right now, and this specifically, I'm just talking about Team USA. This is kind of like how, like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, like,
92. Yeah,
like in
92. Yeah,
'92, like
yeah. That's a good call.
Magic and Larry, that like prior to that, that was their time, man. That was their prime. Like the '80s, they ruled it. They did. And once they got into '92 and they were part of that Olympic team, Larry Bird barely played because of his back problems,
Yeah,
But when he did play, he had the experience. He had the, when they put the two, put him and Magic on the court together, you doesn't matter how old they were. You knew that they were going to make things happen. That's the same thing, in my opinion, when you're looking at Diana Taurasi. Diana Taurasi is still going to make that team better. She's going to, like you were saying, player coach. She's going to make sure that that these girls are just ready to go. I
yeah.
guarantee it. If not her, somebody else, either Chelsea Gray or Asia Wilson. Doesn't really matter. They're going to be fine. They are.
Mm.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be, it's going to be difficult because it is the Olympics. It is, but still at the same time, that's a great team. And you don't take anybody off of it. You
Yeah,
just
and like
don't.
Kaylin's gonna be on that team the next go around. Probably Angel Reese will be there too. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
um,
I would say so. So one of the last things that I wanted to talk about though, since all of this stuff has been happening, okay, all this hype around Caitlin Clark, all this different stuff. These girls were already good at basketball. All right. They were, have been, have been phenomenal. And you know what? And I'm really hoping that people, again, that's something that people open their eyes to.
yeah,
Um, but I will say that when people play against Caitlin Clark, I feel like they're kind of, I don't know if they're trying to have like career nights, but I do feel like they're trying to make kind of a point.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
trying to make like a point where, hey, we get it. Okay. It's nice. It's good that she's here. We have nothing against her. We don't. And I actually remember Becky Hammond and Asia Wilson saying that specifically because of all these false narratives that everybody hates her, right?
right.
Asia Wilson and Becky Hammond were interviewed, and they said, look, we love Caitlin. We're glad that she's part of the league. It's good for the league. But guess what? I'm still Asia Wilson. We're still the Las Vegas Aces. We are the repeat. Like, we're going for a three-peat this year. Um, we're gonna play basketball and we're gonna kick her ass. That's just how it is. But that's not anything against Caitlin Clark. It's just basketball.
Yeah.
Like, so to me though, have you noticed that maybe like players kind of when they know that they're gonna play against her, maybe they have it in their minds like, I'm gonna kick it up even another notch than what I've done in the past. Because I feel like
Yeah,
that's what they've done.
definitely. I mean, I don't think that like people are I think it's like kind of in the middle of what people have been like putting out there where I don't think necessarily they're trying to hurt her or anything, but they're
No,
definitely like trying to
no.
send a message. Like this is our league. Like we're happy you're here and we're happy like you've brought some extra eyeballs on to the league, but this is our league. Like this isn't the Caitlin Clark Association. This is the Women's National Basketball Association. Like we've been here. And honestly, like that's the case with a lot of rookies. Like you're not gonna come in and own the place. And I think Caitlin Clark understands that. I think Angel Reese understands that. Like they're not going to
Yeah,
get any special treatment. But again, with these newer fans, they don't understand that, and they think that the red carpet should just be rolled right out for Caitlin Clark to get her 30-point triple doubles or whatever. And it's like,
yeah.
no, man, like this
No,
is
no.
she's got to earn all of that. Like they're going to make her work for this.
Would you
Like
agree? Would you agree that Dejanay Carrington has Caitlin's number though? A little bit.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Dejan, I think she's got it out for her, man. Like
She's
uh
got it out for her in the sense of like you're
she
not
might
gonna
she might
she's like
she's gonna be in the discussion for DPOI, Defensive
I
Player of the
I
Year,
I think she
Dejanay.
will. I think she will, man. She is phenomenal. Like I'm not kidding. I'm and that Connecticut Sun team is just gonna be again, they're already a force to be reckoned with Alyssa Thomas and again Dejanay Carrington. Um
DeWanna Bonner, Brianna
dude,
Jones.
Bonner. Okay, can I just say though, Bonner, it like I love that. I love that woman's energy. Like,
Yeah,
oh God, man, she is just like if I'm on that team and I'm just coming into it, or even if I'm coming in as a rookie, or if I'm a new teammate of hers, you know for a fact you're gonna be hyped every single game. It does
yeah,
not
man.
matter whether it's from her or Alyssa Thomas or again Dejanay Carrington, because again, defense wins championships. It really does. But man, Dejanay, dude, I'm very like I love the way that she plays. I do, and
Yeah,
and every time that she holds Caitlin Clark to like what she's gonna get her points. All right, that's just how she is. Like she'll get her points one way or another. But the steals, like a couple blocks here and there too, and just flat out playing tough defense, like just physical tough defense, and making sure that she's not comfortable. I mean, she's fitting the bill right now for that, and she's doing. I mean, it's fun to
yeah,
watch.
yeah. I mean, like there's a lot of talk like people like oh the players don't respect her like but like if you watch the game and you watch how she's being defended, they clearly respect her
They
as a player because they're either doubling her or they're trying to play deny defense like they are treating her like a star, like because they don't want her to get the ball, don't want her to go off. But yeah, I definitely think that when certain teams are going up against her, they're like, yeah, we're gonna send a message. They understand that most likely the more attention is going to be on them for that game because of Caitlin Clark. So yeah, we're gonna show out. We'll try our best to show out a little bit more because we know it's just like when like an NBA game is playing on a Sunday afternoon. It's like all the eyeballs are going to most likely be on that game. It's like, oh yeah, I'm probably going to try and maybe try a little harder than I would on a random Tuesday game against Charlotte. You know,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
disrespect to Charlotte, but
No,
yeah, I think that's been very obvious. Like they're my thing has been like, and because she's been taking some shots, she's been getting knocked down, and it's like, yes, that is basketball. However, where is her teammates, bro? Like, yo, got to step in, man.
I was about to ask that too, because that's actually something that people were very, very like concerned. Like, wait a minute, what this girl like Jen like? Chennedy Carter, I think, from the Sky.
Yeah,
Like I mean, she just blatantly like just put a shoulder into her, and you could see that. Okay, look, I don't
it wasn't
care.
even during a play. It was literally
Wasn't during a
the ball
play.
was yeah,
Ball was being inbounded. Okay, like she didn't even get the ball yet, and then she just lays into her with a shoulder. She knocks her to the ground, and you're just kind of sitting there, and you're like, okay, uh, Aaliyah Boston, where are you? Where you get
yeah. It's like
hey, can you come and help me up a little bit here? Like I would did I did we have a fight today or what you know,
yeah, it's
like what happened?
that's one of those like unwritten rules. Like when you have a star on a team, it's like if
It's just part of being a good
there's some rough
teammate.
play, yo, you got to step in. Like
Yeah,
Draymond's
dude.
not gonna let you mess around with Steph. Like
No,
you
no.
know,
Just like guys wouldn't let Kobe, they wouldn't let him get messed with, you know? I mean, they wouldn't let Michael or Scotty or any of these guys, like Magic
yeah.
Johnson, even Larry Bird, like they wouldn't let these guys just get knocked down and not say anything about it. I mean, come on. Like
No,
that's
you got
just
to step in, man. That's why you got
yeah,
to have one of those plays. Like if Jalen or Jason gets if get into it, somebody like I know Marcus Smart historically would be the one to step in, but like probably Al Horford's gonna step in and be like,
yeah,
"Yo,
dude.
somebody like you can't let your stars be like taking
Just
advantage
knocked
of
to the
it."
ground and you're just gonna stare at them. Like
Yeah,
I
like
just
again, I don't
I
have a problem with the physical play at all, but
no.
there's like this code with your teammate. And it's like, yo, you gotta have my back. Like if I'm the star, if this person is the star. They're obviously bringing like the eyeballs, bring the ticket sales, whatever. It's like they're getting a lot of the points. We got to protect the star. We got to protect our
Yeah,
no matter
yeah.
even if it is a star, we got to protect our teammate,
Well,
and they
that's the
have
other
not
thing too.
been doing that.
No, no, they haven't. That's the other thing though too. That's why I'm saying to myself, like, that's just not only is that like protect your main player, that's also part of being a good teammate.
Yeah,
Like we teach that in youth, or we try to. And you never know if the kids are actually gonna accept it and like buy into it. But yeah, dude, like you're pro, like you are pro basketball players. Like we have to, let's get it together a little bit here. I mean, I'm hoping that I'm hoping the coach at least has something to say about it. Like you, like even from that perspective, I'd be sitting there in a team meeting and I would just be like, what the hell? Let's
yeah,
like get your shit together. That shouldn't be happening ever, not even for a second. I don't care what quarter it is. Like this is not that's not being a good teammate. And I'd be pissed off about that. I really would. But um
yeah. It's like, oh man, that was one of the things that was bugging me the most. I'm like, yo, where's
where's
I
everybody
don't.
else?
Yeah, if you want a hard foul, absolutely. But yo, where's the team at? Where are we at? Because like I was one of those guys. Not that we would get a lot of that, but I'm like, I'm not a star. Like if
No.
somebody's getting, not that I'm like the biggest guy in the world, but like I'm gonna stand up for my guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, that was really annoying. And like I'm hoping, I really hope that, and it isn't even like a necessarily Aaliyah Boston thing because this is only her second year either. But like there's gonna be some vets on that team that's like, all right, let's
It's like, hold on a second. Hold on a
yeah, like
second.
not asking you to
Don't touch
like
my teammate.
yeah, we're not asking you to like get in a full on like bar fight, but like at least just step in, like get
Give a chest bump or a shoulder or something.
yeah,
Like, come
something.
on. Yeah,
I
I'm not.
mean, anytime in baseball, somebody like a player gets hit or whatever, you know that the opposing pitcher is going to retaliate.
Yeah,
That's
he's gonna throw a
that's just
95
that's
mile an
just
hour
it.
fastball at your face. Like that's just how it is, or
Yeah, you
at
got to
your
brush you
thigh or
back.
whatever. Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Yeah, that's all I'm asking. Just brush some of these girls, these women back. That's all.
yeah, yeah. Just
I mean, granted,
get your get your teammate, pick her up, tell her, let her know that you care.
yeah, I
I,
mean,
I hate
granted,
to
like
say it that way.
staring down the barrel of like someone like an Alyssa Thomas isn't the most ideal thing, but still, I mean,
No, but you at least fake it till you make it, man.
yeah, get out there or something.
Yeah.
You
Well,
don't got to throw hands. I mean, if you
no,
want, but
no, man, we don't. Yeah, I mean, I would never want anybody to be like the Pistons from the 80s and 90s. Like, I would never want that for anybody. I really wouldn't.
yeah,
But hey, well, either way. So
keep it PG.
I want to leave with this though. So as far as like players go, who has been maybe like one or two that you found this season maybe besides a Caitlin Clark, because obviously, yes, like she's been really fun to watch, right? But like one or two players out of this season so far who I don't know, you've just like been really impressed with, or you're just like, wait a minute, like, yeah, like they exist too. I mean, come on. Like
Yeah.
it's not just Caitlin Clark.
Well, you mentioned her earlier, actually, Dejanay.
Dejanay Carrington. Yeah.
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 She's been huge for Sun. Like I obviously like am drawn like the Sun. I consider the Sun one of my teams because the Connecticut, it's the closest
Yeah.
team to me.
Yeah.
I'm just also just really impartial to the Aces because Asia Wilson, like I said, mentioned earlier, got me back into it. Um, but yeah, no, Dejanay and trying to think who else. I mean, I guess I just realized how good Jewel Lloyd is this year. Like I already knew, like I knew she was like a pretty good player, but like I didn't.
Yeah, but she's sneaky though.
Yeah,
She's like
yeah,
sneaky good. Like she just came like she didn't necessarily come out of the woodwork. She's always been really good. Like she's
yeah.
always been really good. But I will say that like this season in particular, she's definitely stepped it up.
Mm-hmm,
So I'll definitely I agree with you on that. For me again, I'd have to say Carrington as well, just because I love the way that she plays defense like that. And I guess that's like personal preference for me, just because I was always like a 3-and-D type point guard.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I tried to get myself in there to rebound like a, some people call me some people call me John Stockton at certain points. And that's way, hold on a second. I'm like, that's way too much. Let's just calm down about that. Right.
Uh,
But
I'd take the John Stockton comparisons.
I did, I took it and I took it and I ran with it. But,
I used to get Avery Bradley,
oh, but that's also a good one though. Damn, dude,
Avery
that guy
Bradley or
was,
Tony Allen, like one of those send
ooh,
off.
oof. Yeah.
I wasn't mad at.
Tony Allen didn't like anybody.
I wasn't mad at either of those.
I wouldn't have been, but for me, no, like Dejanay Carrington, and then, man, I have to say though, I've always liked Kalia Copper,
Mm-hmm,
always liked Kalia Copper, just because I feel like she can do a little bit of everything, and once she gets going downhill, like you're like, "Ugh, she's just gonna do everything that she can to get the bucket. She will not, and she doesn't care how many times she gets blocked either. She'll go right back at it, like,
mm-hmm.
she'll be smart about it, but she's gonna go right back at it. She's gonna show you that she's not scared. And part of the reason why, I mean, she was a very big piece of that Chicago Sky championship team back in, God, when was that? Uh, well, it wasn't that long ago, Jimmy. Come on now.
It was at
2021,
21. Was it
21.
21?
Yeah, 2021. I want to say,
Sounds
yeah.
about right.
And and I know Candace Parker was a big part of that as well. Shout out to Candace Parker, by the way. She's from good old Naperville, Illinois, over here. Um,
Okay.
and oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah,
Avid listener of the show.
yeah. Oh yeah, oh
Shout
yeah.
out Candace.
I sure, I sure hope so someday. Why not?
Candy.
But I just, yeah, I always loved, I do though. I love a lot of the athletes that are, that are in this league right now. And I really hope that they open the doors for others to come, because there is a lot of great talent out there, and it should not be halted in any way just because there's problems, or difficulties going on with the league. You know, I
Yeah.
really, just, we talked a lot about WNBA today. But listen, that's what, Derek and I,
There's a lot of talk about going on about around the WNBA lately, around Caitlin Clark lately. So
yeah,
it is kind of fitting. A lot of people are talking about her and the league. So
I'm hoping that
so
people can educate themselves too, though, a little bit more.
yeah, yeah,
Educate yourselves a little bit, just a little bit more, so we don't have as many bad takes, not as many bad
yeah. Because
opinions. They're always going to
I don't
happen,
want
dude.
to do it.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
always. Listen,
If
Derek
you
doesn't want to deal with you, okay?
Yeah, if
Because
you
it's
could
too
educate your
tempting.
yeah, if you could oh dude.
It is way too tempting.
Oh, bro, like, well, real quick, like I will say, like I think I mentioned it maybe before, but like because of like because of the pain I've been dealing with, like sciatica in the back, and like I've been very limited on what I can do, right? And my patience has just grown very thin, and I've become a lot more irritable,
Yeah.
and I have a lot of time, and that's a terrible equation for when you're on social media and you're getting into debates, and I just basically a lot of people have been getting the smoke. Typically I will just I'll just dust it off. I'll let it go. Cooler heads will prevail. But a lot of people have been getting the smoke, deservedly so.
Yes.
But Uh, I've had to put some people in their place, and I'm not apologizing for it, but it's not like me typically. But yeah, just I would just
He's
like to
got a lot
say,
of fire. He's got a lot of
yeah,
fire.
a lot of people like to put out that say that, oh, this is a hot take. It's like, no, it's just a bad take. It's not a hot take. It's a bad take.
Unpopular
Um,
opinion.
unpopular opinion. No, it's just a bad opinion. It's just a bad opinion. It's unpopular because it's bad. That's typical. That's really what it is.
It's
Um,
nothing. You just shouldn't say it.
yeah, unpopular opinion. But well, why do you think it's unpopular, Bob? It's because it's bad. That's why.
Listen, it's like in Talladega Nights. Listen, I mean this with all due respect, but that is just terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
I'm
what I mean?
just
It's like yeah, dude, I get it. I get it. Well, hey, listen,
yeah. So if you could educate yourselves, so I don't have to educate you,
so
that'd be
that
great.
Derek doesn't have to take time out of his day. He's already got enough things he's got to deal with, okay? But when you put bad takes out there like that, and this man knows what he knows, okay, and also at the same time, he's got a lot of time. You don't want it.
Yeah.
You don't want the smoke. You don't.
As
But
as
I'm
my
glad you
good
get
friend Brooklyn Foulmouth female on TikTok says, I made time. I make time. I've been making time lately, and I don't want to make time. So
no.
educate yourselves, so I don't have to. Google is 100% free. It's there all day, 24/7. So
There you go. There you go. Well, hey, we enjoyed this today. We really did. Just like talking WNBA, talking Caitlin Clark, talking Asia Wilson, talking these phenomenal athletes that are still playing professional basketball. We hope that they continue to play for a very, very long time, setting examples for not only the athletes that are going to come, you know, coming into the league, but also young, young kids everywhere.
yes,
I don't care,
support
boy or girl,
women's
boy.
basketball,
Yes, please
support
support
women's
women's.
sports.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, we always
Yes,
appreciate you guys. We appreciate the support that you give us here on All the Vibes with Jimmy and Derek. Thanks a lot for taking the time to listen today. We'll see you next time. And again, if you guys have any questions for us, you guys want to leave ratings or reviews on the podcast, please do so. It definitely helps it out. Um, yeah, man, it's been good. Been real good.
yes, and remember, Google is free.